Hello, everybody. Welcome to Made Fit and Lean. If you're new, please hit that like and subscribe button. Well, folks, I want to give you all an update. My endoscopy went right well. I didn't die during the process. They had to put me all the way under, which I was very nervous, so I said a lot of prayers. But what they found was I don't have H. pylori, which is the stomach ulcer virus. I do have gastritis, reflexive gastritis, which basically means your stomach is irritated, your esophagus is irritated. No corrosion, no cancer, no nothing serious. But the only thing is, folks, is that they have to find out what the cause of that is. So could it be my gallstones, my gallbladder? So the other doctor, the Jew doctor, wants to take my gallbladder out, but I don't want to do that. And I have a name for my gallbladder. I call him Timmy. I don't want to take Timmy out just yet. So I have to go see the Jewish doctor, in May. He's very nice, and he is very persistent about, his gallbladder, but just because I have reflective gastritis, I mean, it can be caused by stress. It can be autoimmune. So there's a number of things that can cause that. The good news is I'm, not dying or anything. It also can cause the itty bitty tachycardia, because they went over that with me. It can cause the bradycardia, which, by the way, my pulse today was in the low 40s. I didn't feel dizzy or anything. I just oh, but yeah, I felt a little tired. But my pulse was in the low 40s. Of course, I do have an athlete's heart because I did a lot of bike riding and swimming. Anyway, folks, I had a job interview today. It was at sort of one of those phony upscale restaurants. And the interview went right well, but I got turned down by the job interview an hour later. Indeed sent me a message saying we're not going forward with the process. And I don't know if it's because I'm not a Chad. So I don't know if it was appearance based or the fact that I told them that I had no fine dining experience and I wanted to work 12 hours a week. So I'm not sure. It's either that I'm not a Chad or I lack experience and other things, because it's very appearance based. And the interviewer was a female, but I don't know. But the guy that owns the owner, he was real friendly, came up and introduced himself, shook my hand, and I thought, well, maybe I have a chance, because he seemed really interested. But I don't know why I didn't get it. Within an hour, folks, within an hour, I got a notification, you're not hired. But I would like to be a waiter because I can make good tips. Now, another place to meet a lot of females is being a barista. You can meet like these cute college girls, come in and give them their coffee and all that. I don't think that is creepy, but the problem is with being a barista, they usually want you there early in the morning, which I can't do. So, 7 to 3 is usually the hours. I would have to go to bed at 8 so I could feel okay to get up that early. Because currently I go to bed at midnight and I get up around 10 o'clock in the morning, because that's how much sleep I need to feel good. I'm watching my blood sugar, and I'll tell y'all something. I don't have diabetes. I don't have pre-diabetes or anything like that, but this is true for everybody. You can be, you don't have to be insulin resistant or anything, but everybody has blood sugar spikes. And even if you're young, it has nothing to do with getting older, but because I am over 40, I have to be, I think, like blood sugar, I'm focused more on blood sugar than I am blood pressure. And I'm focused more on, does this have a lot of sugar in it? So with a lot of grievances, I have almost completely given up sweet tea. Sweet tea is sugar laden, but so are most soft drinks and Cokes and all that. We call them Coke. We used to call every soft drink in Virginia, we just call it a Coke. They don't do that anymore because we've been so Yankeefied. But anyway, so I don't know, folks. I don't think I really want to be a waiter, but see, at Chick-fil-A, I did service. Like, fast food is very different than fine dining. So, I told them, well, look, I was at Chick-fil-A and I did wait tables and I did the register and I did customer service. But I guess they weren't very impressed with that, even though I've worked there for almost 5 years. And they said I was the best person to clean the dining room. I was one of their best. And I did the cow mascot. But apparently it didn't work in fine dining. And I don't know, it's just like, it's a different thing. I don't know if it's an age thing, but I'm getting to the realization that I don't know if I'll ever get to be a Chad in my lifetime. Now in heaven, I will definitely be a Chad because I will be in my spiritual body, and so in heaven I'll have perfect body fat, perfect bone structure. I want to tell everybody that, and all you incels out there, don't rope yourself yet, because if you turn to Jesus, just remember in heaven you'll be a Chad. You'll get to be a Chad in heaven. That's something I'm looking forward to. Um, but here on Earth, I'm hoping for high tier normie. That's what I'm shooting for. Right now, I'm a mid tier normie, and I really am a very, like no one would say I'm ugly. I'm not unattractive, okay, objectively, but I'm not gorgeous. I'm not really handsome. Well, I might be borderline handsome sometimes. Sometimes when I look in the mirror and the light's hitting just right, I have to say, okay, I'm not bad looking. Okay, folks. But in fact, I kind of have a Brandon Flowers quality. Brandon Flowers from The Killers. I don't have a strong jaw, so that's one of the things is I'll never be a Henry Cavill. Although I was talking about, see, I feel like I'm ahead of my time, folks, because I was way back in the early 2000s. I was on internet message boards talking about bone maxing, talking about smashing my face to have higher cheekbones like Tom Welling. I cannot believe Tom Welling is now being brought up in the Looksmax community because that was my go-to. I thought I want to look like Tom Welling because he had an incredible bone structure and he had high cheekbones and like incredible jawline, and I thought, and he had great hair, and that was sort of my looks maxing. But I was ahead of my time. I didn't realize how ahead of my time was when I was talking about high cheekbones on these internet message boards. People were like, "What? Are you a little bit light in the loafers?" No, I was ahead of my time in looks maxing theory, thinking I want to ascend to be like Tom Welling. Tom Welling, in case for all you young whippersnappers, he was like the most handsome, like, prime Tom Welling was really good. He still looks okay for his age. He's 2 years older than me, but he looks a lot older than me, so he looks like 60. But in his prime, like Tom Welling was like really good looking, and he's what I wanted to look like. But the best I could do was more of a better looking version of Drew Carey. Pretty much what I ended up looking like. But anyway, folks, I can't believe I was ahead of my time with Looksmaxing. I was talking about this years ago when this was not a mainstream thing. But I was comparing myself to Tom Welling, and on these internet, I would ask, do I look like Dean Cain? What can I do to improve my bone structure? I was into like my maxilla, talking about all those things, way back in 2002 or three, when I was a young man, and nobody understood it. But now Looksmaxing is a thing, and I'm not saying I was like created it, but I certainly was sort of on the cusp, the precipice of that. Anyway, folks, pray that I get a good job. I would like to work at a coffee shop and wait on a lot of pretty girls, like, give them coffee and stuff, and talk to some girls. Like, I hang out a lot of places where they have, like, these cute college gals around, and I just sort of admire them from afar, because, you don't want to be creepy or anything. I just sort of sit in the shadows and just, but anyway, folks, and I'm on Match.com, but the thing about dating websites is they feel so artificial, and I've already gotten 6 matches already, and they're not bots; these are real females, and I must have improved somewhat because I remember like a few years ago I would hardly get any. Like I've got 6 matches in 2 weeks, and I just started my count up again. So either they're really desperate or something's changed. I don't know. But I was thinking about doing Face IQ. He has one of those face, like, he can analyze your face, but he's very brutal. He's very brutal, folks, and I know it would crush my self-esteem. Although I think he's a little hard because he's very biased, and I don't know, he's not a Christian. So anyway, folks, thank you all for watching. I just want to say that my health is fine. I'm fine, and I will prevail. Even if I don't become a Chad in my lifetime, in heaven I get to be one. And of course, Jesus is the ultimate Giga Chad, right? So, thank you all for watching. Go to my website, meSkillsPlace.com. And remember, folks, say a prayer for someone special today. Bye-bye.